Okay, I see I'm recording, and I'm basically recording a complaint to Christofoli Brothers Plumbing and Heating. They gave me this coupon here, if you can see it. Anyway, I called them about 2.5 weeks ago. Now, this is the second time I had an issue. Like last year, late last year, last winter, when the stupid thingies were like freezing every 5 seconds, and like every 2.5 seconds when the winters were like 8 degrees above zero in a day and 35,000 degrees below zero at night, and all my pipes were freezing. And thank God I kept my water running, because if I didn't keep it running, it would have busted. So I kept it running, and I just came out the shower, which is why I look so lovely and fresh. Which is why I'm complaining, because that's why I just noticed it. But thank God I have hot water and running water. But anyway, I kept the pipes running. I just came out the shower, but I kept the pipes running last year, which is why they didn't burst. But I had, like, a lot of times I didn't have any cold water. A couple of times I didn't have my cold water pipes froze. I couldn't flush the toilet. I was scalding myself washing my hands or brushing my teeth. I couldn't really take a shower because I was scalding myself. And then a couple of times, more than a couple of times, my hot water froze. So I had cold water. I could flush my toilet and everything, but I had to boil the water with a big pot and take a bath and, all that stuff. And it's amazing how many gallons of water it fills up a bathtub. I mean, I guess like 50 pots to fill up a bathtub. I don't know. But anyway, you have to put like a billion pots of water just to get the bathtub halfway warm. But anyway, because my pipes kept freezing every 2.5 seconds, and the hot water tanks were messing up, I had to call the plumber a couple of times. And one of the plumbers, and I basically told him, like, because I was so tired, like freezing and not having hot water and boiling it, and the hot water tank's going off. I turned my hot water knob purposely, me myself turned it up to like 1,000 degrees, really hot. And they were like, "Oh, you gonna scald yourself, and whoever comes over is gonna scald yourself." I said, "Well, there are no kids here, and whoever comes over, if they're too stupid to know how to wash their hands and they see scalding water, they shouldn't be in my kitchen. They shouldn't be in the sink. They shouldn't be over here because they're usually uninvited guests. So if someone comes over, which is rare because I don't have too many guests, there's someone else as a guest. But anyway, that was like last year. I mean, since then, thank God, the white hot water tanks didn't really go off that much. But last year, I had to call the plumber because of the hot water tanks, and they came out a couple of times. And one of the guys, I guess it was like whatever he did, the hot water tank got turned off within less than a week. So I had to call them. They sent out an emergency because I didn't have any hot water tank, and they sent some jack dumbass. I don't know who he was, but he was goofy. He was irritating. I was at the library, which is like 7 or 8 blocks away, waiting for this guy, and he took forever. And then he was obviously aggravated and pissed off because I was his very last customer for the day, and it was like a Saturday. So he was mad at me, and because I guess he had to call, and I didn't give him the call. Asked his dispatch why they gave him the call. As far as I know, he could never have to show up. Someone else would have came, because I had a couple of great plumbers that came out, and unfortunately, I don't remember anyone's names, including this asshole from last year. But anyway, I didn't request him, and I purposely requested him never to come back after I had such a bad experience. But he came out. He was aggravated. He was aggravated at me. He was very late. He was frustrated because I guess he had one extra call. I told him my neighbor's home. She's there. She's waiting. She has no hot water. He was too stupid to know how to find the door. I'm like, it's on side street in Newark Street. My neighbor came out looking for him, and he was like walking up and down Main Street, even though I told him more on Newark Street is where the door is. He didn't know how to read a street sign and walk on Newark Street and see the door. So it took him forever to even, comprehend Newark Street, doors on Newark Street. And so he was frustrated from that. Then he was making goofy, smart ass, not funny comments. And then because I was at the library, and he kept telling me he was en route like a past hour, I said, well, when he gets there, I'll leave. So when my neighbor said he's here, I left. And he was pissed off that he was there before I was. And, he charged me all this money. And whatever he did incompetently backfired in like less than a week. It messed up again, so I had to get another person. I said, "Don't ever send this son of a bitch back to my house." Well, that was like last year or this year. And most drivers, most plumbers or whatever, they charge you. They charge you a hell of a lot because they're professional, but they don't charge you for driving time and lunch time and brushing their teeth time and putting on their socks time. But this asshole driver charged me extra. I guess because it was an emergency holiday weekend, so he charged me extra even though he was fixing someone else's broken job. And basically, I had to call back someone else to fix his shitty ass job because he didn't do a good job. So anyway, that was last year. So this time I called. Now I know I made calls before, and this time I called, like I said, about 3 weeks, not even 3 weeks ago, less than 3 weeks ago, about a good 2 weeks ago. The operator lady said, "Oh well, it's $130 for the first hour, which includes drive time. So the driver has up to 30 minutes to do whatever, and then okay, there it is, and after he does that, then it's like $90 every hour." So I said, so basically you're telling me it's $130 for the first 30 minutes. No, it's for the first hour, but that includes drive time. Well, no other driver charged me except the asshole from like the incompetent moron from like last year who came on a Saturday. And so this driver, I think she claims his name was Noel, he came. So he called me, and of course he got his whole 27 minutes of driving. And then he spent about an hour here, because most times they take about an hour. So he charged me an hour and a half because he had to get that 30 minutes of drive time in. He charged me for some pipes and supplies, which was about $40 for supplies, even though it was just one little $5 piece and maybe a $10 piece, whatever. But, they're going to charge you a whole lot. And I'm going to show you what he left me with. And again, this was done 2 weeks ago. And he charged me over $200 because he charged me an hour and a half. And plus he charged me for like 3 items. And these are the 3 items. Now I called him for 2 things. My bathroom, because of the gorilla ape in the mist, it was washing clothes and very rough with the plumbing. I had constantly, the bathtub was leaking. So I called him first time because it was really leaking. This is leaking now. And this is what he left me with. Whatever. He was like, oh, just, do it yourself, buy some piece at Home Depot because it'll charge me $100 just to put that piece on. So he took off the knob, the on-off hot-cold knob, because that's stripped, and he put this little pole here, pipe, and he told me to do it myself. And yet 2 weeks, it's not even 2 weeks and it's dripping now. It's dripping again. And I have it all the way down. I mean, this is ridiculous. Not even 2 weeks. This is his first job, Noel's first job. So that's job number 1, where he left me with a damn pipe, some damn whatever the hell is, he left me with, he told me, well, I would charge you $1 million for me to do it, so do it yourself. You could do it yourself and save $1 million. But he told me to like go to Home Depot, and he wrote the stuff down, and this is his handwriting. I'll show you, because I'm recording this and I'm sending it on the email, because I want resolution and no. So he wrote this down, told me to go to Home Depot and get this. Yeah, he took this thing off. Whatever it is, some ball and chain thing. I don't know, some ball and chain thingy. Whatever this thing is, some plumbing ball and chain. He said, go to Home Depot and tell them you need this and that thing. And he said, tell them I need a handle for single lever Delta tub faucet. Handle for single level Delta tub faucet. And he told me, he tried to call himself, showing me how to do it myself. Yeah, whatever. Okay, fine. Because obviously, there's a billion, a trillion, zillion plumbing pieces. So you don't carry all trillion plumbing pieces with you. So I understand the fact that he didn't have it. And if he was going, he could go get it, but he's going to charge me $1 billion to go to Home Depot, pick it up and come back. Because that's time, that's driving, that's gas and mileage. So I said, no, just write it down and I'll get it myself, which is what I plan to do. But that's what he left me with because he didn't have the piece with him. But the fact is, it's dripping. Again, it hasn't been in 2 weeks and it's dripping. Here's the other reason I called. This is the sink. Now, like I said, last year, because the plumbing I was losing my hot water and cold water every 5.5 seconds, I said, keep this hot water tank on 1 billion degrees, the highest temperature possible. So yeah, it could scald you, but first it has to get warm. But while it's doing, but because it was so hot, I mean, under the sink it has like, I don't know if you can even see it. It's literally, the whole under the sink is wet and soaked. And he said that, because you see most of this stuff is like black pipes and iron, but this is like plastic PVC, whatever the hell you call it. And so he replaced this PCV thing that's leaking, and he put like some more white tape on it, and he put more white tape. I mean, look at this. I have to fill this thing up. I mean, this is ridiculous. And so, again, it's been less than 2 weeks. And he replaced 2 parts. He replaced something under the sink in the hot water. And he replaced the thing in the shower. And he took this PCV off, put some more, cleaned it out and put some more white duct tape on it. And he twisted it back up again. However, less than 2 weeks later, this is dripping. Because why? He said the reason why it's dripping because I had the hot water so damn hot, it melted the plastic, and once the plastic is melted, it just drips away. So I thank God it took about a year plus to melt the plastic. But then again, I had a gorilla here, staying here, cooking, cleaning, washing his clothes, blasting the water at full speed, which is why the faucet in the bathtub messed up, and which is probably why this, which took a whole year for not to happen. It happened once gorilla got here. But the main culprit was because the hot water tank was so high, and he went down to the basement 2 times minimum because he had to go down to the basement to turn off the water, because that's what an on-off switch for the water is. And then he went back down the basement for some other thing into his car. Then he went down the basement again to turn the water back on. So he went he went downstairs 3 different times, if not. And all those 3 times, not once did he turn the hot water tank down because it's still scalding hot. And because of that, less than 3 weeks later, maybe 2.5 weeks later, the plastic tape melted and it's dripping again like a waterfall, which is the main thing. I have stuff that was running into the floor. I mean, water was coming all out here. It's ridiculous. You can see the water stains. So I called them back. I'm planning to go and, I don't know if you can see it well. But anyway, I plan to go to Home Depot and get me a faucet handle for that. But my thing is, since it's dripping again, what if I get here and the plumber is like, oh, I have to replace this because this is bad, blah, blah, blah. And then what I bought at Home Depot, well, this ain't going to work because this worked for the Delta one-piece on-off faucet switch model 123. I'm putting on a Cohen faucet hot cold switch model XYZ, so it's a totally different model, totally different brand. Thusly, what I bought doesn't work, so I have to go back and switch something again and do it myself. And to be honest, for the gas, and I called them, Christofoli, to come out around October or September, because my neighbor, because of the gas, and there was the heat didn't work. It kept going off. And so they came out, and the guy said I needed like this piece and that piece. He told me a specific piece to get, and he said he had to order it because he didn't have it on stock, which makes sense. And he was like, it's gonna be like $500-$600, which was a lot of money plus. And he charged me like $200, and I said, well, I'll get the pieces and call you back. So according to him, he ran downstairs and took off some new piece he already put on, and then left and put the old piece back on. So mind you, he charged me $200 to half fix it. It still was no heat, and he still had to order like 3 or 4 more parts to properly fix it, which is gonna be like $700-800. So that's when I got American Home Shield. It's a home warranty program. I had American Home Shield for about a year, and they charge you different rates. I mean, it goes from like $70-80 a month to like $150-200 a month, depending on how big your house is, how old your house is, how many problems it is. If it's a 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit, or 4 unit, or more than 4 units, and all this and that. So they have different programs. You can get it for they fix your appliances, your refrigerators, they fix your water and pipes, they fix your electrical wiring, the toilets, the wiring, the pipes, the appliances. They fix my refrigerator in DC, they fix my sink in DC at my parents' house. And I basically called them because I wasn't going to spend $1 billion, so I basically had to get some money. So like a month later, when I got the money, I called American Home Shield. And they sent out the heating guy, and he's like, oh, he basically was there for like an hour vacuuming everything. He said, well, actually, it was nothing wrong with it. You didn't need this piece or that piece, or you didn't need 1.21 gigawatts of cubes and power. You just needed to have a thorough cleaning. It's an old system that needs to be thoroughly cleaned. She has about 50 cats, so, cat fur and everything. So he said it has to be thoroughly cleaned and vacuumed. So he basically just thoroughly cleaned and vacuumed and dusted the whole entire furnace. and oiled it and, did a tune up and it worked fine.